New Wave Community Media.
It's just J-Mike.
Hello, my darlings. Welcome to a new episode of Generation Mix Podcast, aka GMP with Jolie. Did you know me? So today, y'all, we doing another reading hour. This is going to be filled with more trailblazers who changed and are still changing our multiracial landscape socially, politically, and historically. But before we dig in, can we talk about this summer heat on there? I know folks talk about weather, it's small talk and stuff, but I'm pretty sure most of the damn nation is probably at least 1,000 degrees in the 7th level of hell. I know we are out here in the Silicon Valley. I mean, we is just sweating for days. We have the dry heat one day. We have the humid heat the next day. It's like, can you make up your mind? I'm used to the humid heat. It sucks. It is gross. But I'd rather have the dry heat, to be honest, because then you're not as sweaty and swampy feeling as you normally would be in humid weather. But yeah, I want y'all to stay cool, stay hydrated, and don't be running the streets too harsh because you won't get a heat stroke or something. I'm just saying, y'all. Anywho, enough of that little minute-long rant. So we're going to dive right in. Our first person we are going to be talking about. Thank you, Wikipedia, for these wonderful articles. Always got to cite my sources. Again, I'm your intro to Mixed Race Communities podcast. I keep it simple. You can go further and research these people if you like. I just introduce them to you. So, first one that we have that's coming up, her name is Ramona E. Douglas, and she died in 2007. Doesn't have a whole lot on her Wikipedia page, but there are a few impactful things she did do. So, the small quirk on her is basically she was an American activist. In addition to her work as a medical sales and marketing professional, she was a prominent advocate for multiracial Americans. And real short, she was a graduate of Colorado State University with a BS in geology and chemistry. And she was a community activist for almost 30 years. She was a founding member of the National Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression and participated with Angela Davis's Political Defense Committee in the early 1970s. And y'all know how Miss Davis was. She was like high up on the most wanted list and everything. In 1986, Douglas became active in the Biracial Family Network, one of the United States' oldest community organizations, advocating for mixed heritage people and families. On November 12, 1998, the Biracial Family Network joined similar organizations in the U.S. and Canada to create the Association of MultiEthnic Americans, which is also known as AMEA. Douglas, an AMEA co-founder, served as the organization's vice president 1988 to 1991, president 1994 to 1999, and Director of Media and Public Relations, 2000 to 2005. She served on AMEA's Advisory Council until her death in 2007. She was a prominent spokeswoman for multiracial issues during the debates preceding the 2000 United States Census. In 1993, she testified before Representative Thomas C. Sawyer's Democrat Ohio Subcommittee on Census Statistics and Postal Personnel in favor of adding a multiracial category to the 2000 census. In 1995, she was appointed by then Secretary of Commerce Ron Brown to the 2000 Census Advisory Committee. As AMEA's representative on the community for 13 years, she contributed a multiracial personal and community organizing perspective. In 1997, Douglas testified before the Subcommittee on Government Management, Information and Technology of the House Committee on Government Reform and Oversight on behalf of multiracial Americans. That's a really long-ass subcommittee name. Wow. And the only other thing that they had on her was the personal life. She was an African-American, Native American, Oglala, I guess, is the tribe she's from, and Sicilian heritage. And that's it, you guys. That was it on her. But Granted, it's a small little piece on somebody who made an impact in how we code ourselves on the U.S. Census. So granted, it's not going to be like a long biography, but she did what she had to do in the years she survived and lived in this country fighting for our rights and for us to be seen. So hella claps for you and 3 snaps, sister. Thank you. So now the next one we're going to talk about is the Chestnut Ridge People. I ain't never heard of these people before. So this one's going to be a little more light because it is historical stuff. Now, they're kind of like Melungeons, but then they're not, from what I gather. So listen to this. The Chestnut Ridge People, and they're also known as CRP, are a mixed-race community concentrated in an area northeast of Philippine, Barber County, and north-central West Virginia, with smaller related communities in the adjacent counties of Harrison and Taylor. They are often referred to as Malays, from the most common surname Malay or Male, or Guineas, now considered a pejorative term. The group has been the subject of county histories and some scholarly studies. Some scholars have classified this group as a tri-race. It's kind of like theologians. Contemporary census records frequently designate community members as mulattoes, implying African heritage. Thomas McElwain wrote that many CRP identify as Indian white mixed group or as Native American, but they are not enrolled in any officially recognized tribe. Paul Hennig documented that many individuals are classified as free people of color or similar terms in a variety of colonial, local, and state records. Some CRP have identified as Melungeon, a mixed-race group based in Kentucky and Tennessee, and attended the Melungeon Unions or joined the Melungeon Heritage Association. In 1997, 2 local historians made a presentation about the Guineas of West Virginia at the University of West Virginia's College of Wives. Here's the history. Barber County was settled primarily by white people from eastern Virginia beginning in the 1770s and 80s. It was part of the colony, later state, of Virginia until West Virginia was admitted to the Union as a separate state during the American Civil War. The mixed-race families that later became known as Chestnut Ridge People began to arrive after 1810, when Barber was still part of Randolph and Harrison counties, according to census records. By the 1860s, many individuals of these mixed-race families had married into the white community, and their descendants identified as white. Some of the men served in West Virginia Union Army regiments during the Civil War. Records in the Barber County courthouse indicate that a dozen men successfully petitioned the courts to be declared legally white after serving in the war for the Union. The local West Virginia historian Hugh Maxwell was bemused by the origin of these people when he studied Barber County history in the late 1490s. There is a clan of partly colored people in Barber County, often called Guineas, under the erroneous presumption that they are Guinea Negroes. They vary in color from white to black, often have blue eyes and straight hair, and they are generally industrious. Their number in Barber is estimated at 1,000. They have been a puzzle to the investigator, for their origin is not generally known. They are among the earliest settlers of Barber. Professor W. Nail of Grafton, West Virginia, belongs to this clan, and after a thorough investigation says they originated from an Englishman named Mail who came to America at the outbreak of the Revolution. And that one man had sprung about 700 of the same name, not to speak of the half-breeds. Thus, it would seem that the family was only half-black at the beginning, and by the intermixes since, now are most white. The people of the Ridge have traditionally been subject to severe racial discrimination amounting to ostracism by the surrounding majority white community. In the 1930s, a local historian reported that on several occasions, suits had been entered in Taylor and Barber courts seeking to prevent these people from sending their children to schools with whites, but proof of claims that they have Negro blood in their veins never has been established. As recently as the late 1950s, a few Philippi businesses still posted notices proclaiming white trade only, directed against the CRP as they were believed to be part African American. Although the local public schools are not segregated, truancy laws, which were strictly enforced for white children, were typically neglected with regard to rich people. Now they talk about demographics. If related individuals in the surrounding counties of Harrison and Taylor are included, the CRP probably now number about 1,500, almost all of whom bear one of fewer than a dozen surnames. The Taylor County group, also long referred to by their neighbors as Guineas, and mostly dispersed in the 1930s due to the flooding in their community, known as the West Hill Settlement by Taggart Lake, bore the names of Mail, Mahaly, Croston, Doughton, Kennedy, Johnson, and Parson, among others. 1977 survey of obituaries of the Baldwin Game of Crap showed that 135 of 163 rich people, 83%, living in Baldwin County were married to people having the last names of Mail, Norris, Croston, Pritchard, Collins, Adams, or Kennedy. In 1984, of the 67 males who had listed 10-foot poles, all but 3 lived on the ridge. Here's the ancestry. Now we're going to figure this out. Genealogist Paul Heine has used a variety of colonial-era documents to trace the ancestors of families identified in the South as free blacks during the first 2 censuses of the United States, 1790 and 1800. These included court records, indentures, land deeds, wills, etc. For instance, if a white woman had an illegitimate mixed-race child, the child had to serve a period of apprenticeship as an indentured servant to be trained in a trade and to prevent the community from having to support the woman and her child. Records of such indentures are among the court records he consulted. He found that most of the families of free people of color were descended from unions between white women, free or indentured servants, and African or African-American men, slaves or indentured servants in colonial Virginia. According to the law of the colony and the principle of, remember this one, partis sequitur venturum, by which the children in the colony took the status of their mothers, the mixed-race children of these unions and marriages were born free because the mothers were free. While they were subjected to discrimination, gaining free status helped these families get ahead in society. Heine noted that many of these free people of color migrated west with white neighbors and settled on the frontiers of Virginia, which became West Virginia, Kentucky, and Tennessee, as those areas were less bound by racial past than were the Tidewater plantation areas. On the frontier, settlers were more concerned about people fulfilling social obligations as citizens. Heine's work was praised by an expert in Southern history and one of genealogy. Heine analyzed generations of many families classified as free blacks on those first 2 censuses. He noted that for the early male family, many records from the 1790s to the 1850s classified members as free black, free mulatto, free colored, etc. He suggests that the following individuals are sons of the Wilmore male, and they spell it all different ways, male like as in postal mail, and male as in male senior. Note that prior to 1843, the area of Barber County west of the Tiger Valley River was part of Harrison County, and the area east of the river was part of Randolph. So they start with this guy, they give us an example, right? So there's Wilmore Male Jr., so they're talking about like all these census or all these little pieces that they've done throughout history. So in 1797, he was described as a free black and taxless of Hampshire County, Virginia. In 1810, he was named head of household that included 8 other free persons in Hampshire County, Virginia. 1810 to 1811, taxable for 2 free mulattoes and taxless of Hampshire County, Virginia. 1812, taxed as free mulatto in a taxless in Hampshire County, Virginia. 1813, taxed as of color in taxless in Monongalia County, Virginia. 1815, taxed as free Negro in a taxless of Monongalia County, Virginia. 1817, described as color in taxless of Randolph County, Virginia. 1820, head of household that included 8 free-colored persons in Randolph County, Virginia. 1830, head of household that included 2 free-colored persons in Hampshire County, Virginia. And 1840, head of household that included 2 free-colored persons in Hampshire County, Virginia. And what's interesting is that it goes from him to William Mayle, and and James Male, and they're all very, very similar. George Male, this is all from this one guy, and they all are very similar in terms of how they were classified based on the tax document and the year. Like, there was like 5 different ones. So like Richard Male, his first, for instance, his first index is 1830 to 1829, described as mulatto or colored in Texas of Randolph County, Virginia. And George Male, from 1812 to 1817, that must be his brother, is described as a man of color in taxless in Harrison County, Virginia. Or these all could just be brothers, but maybe when they were older. James was basically in 1810, head of household that included 603 persons in Monongalia County, Virginia. So it's just interesting looking at the random, the way they're being classified in these different counties during these different times. So you either see mulatto, you see colored, you see free person of color, man color. It's, oh wow. I can see why people would be confused and everything with historic stuff because, I mean, within 5, 6 different, entries, there are all sorts of different colors. And head of household where there's no race assigned. So anywho, that was basically like an example of how one particular person who's considered CRP, how they would be tracked, I guess, based on tax lists and how they're classified in terms of race. Which is a little bit of everything, as you see and hear. Anywho, moving on. So, work by Alexandra Finley has confirmed that the CRP descend in the direct paternal line from an immigrant Englishman, Wilmore Male, 1755, circa 1845, born in Dover, Kent, England. Male settled in Virginia with his parents, William and Mary, in the 1760s. As an adult, Male purchased a black female slave named Nancy. In 1826, when he was 71, Male both emancipated and claimed her as a common law wife. Interracial marriage was illegal in Virginia. The emancipating document reads as follows: "Be it known to all whom it may concern that I, Wilmore Male, of the county of Hampshire, and Commonwealth of Virginia, do by these presents liberate, emancipate, and forever set free my Negro woman Nancy on the condition that she may remain with me during my natural life and the quality of my wife. I have set my hand and affixed my seal on the 6th day of May in the year our Lord, 1826. Over the following 2 decades, Male was classified as white, colored, and mulatto in official documents. The federal census of 1840 classified him as free color. In 2014, Harvard historian Henry Louis Gates Jr. discovered genealogy testing, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it happens, y'all, that Wilmore Male is among his ancestors. Well, what do you know? That's pretty cool. Anyway, although no documentary connection was made, Male is the only one of Gates' white ancestors for whom a name is known. This discovery was featured on the final 2nd season episode of Professor Gates' television series, Finding Your Roots with Henry Louis Gates Jr. He visited Philippi and attended a Heritage Day gathering on Chestnut Ridge. In addition to the Male family, Finley's work also identified a number of other CRP families that could trace their heritage back to Revolutionary War era forebears, notably Sam Harris, 1750 to 1844, Gustavus B. Croston, 1757 to circa 1845, and Henry Dawson, 1750 to 1846, as well as others arriving in the mid-19th century, such as Jacob Minner, 1816 to 1907. The descendants of each of these progenitors fostered their own local race, complete with unique folklore and origin story. So now, here come the dissenting views. They're not this, they're that. Here comes the gatekeeping. So, first dissenting view, number 1, no black heritage. B.B. Molly self-published a family history entitled The Males of Barber County, West Virginia in 1980 with 2 updates. He documented the origins of the Male, Molly names in the United States. He claimed to have found only 1 incident of an interracial union. In an interview, he pointed out that the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania press had carried repeated sensational magazine articles in the early 1900s about the area, highlighting its poverty and mixed-race communities. He suggests that this was the origin of accounts that the group was mixed race. Note, the account above predates such articles. The photographs of male descendants that are included in his book, many from the same time period, do not show physical characteristics associated with African phenotypes, but other photographs of self-identified Chestnut Ridge people now available on the internet do show some with such phenotypes. Lally said that three brothers, direct descendants of Wilmore William Male, the original male immigrant, served in regular white units in the U.S. Civil War. Two served in the 7th West Virginia Infantry and one in the 1st West Virginia Cavalry, all white units. Note, Hennick's discussion above that documents court records of 12 soldiers, including several of the male Molly's surname, petitioning to be declared legally white in 1861 and 1866. So yeah, that kind of falls in line with Henning said. He's like, yeah, but they fought because they wanted to say, if I fight with you white people, you won't call me white because I'm fighting with you white people. So that is kind of true. But that's the first dissenting view. And here's the second dissenting view. So this one talks about Native American heritage. What Miss Finreid fails to state is that Wilmore Male is the son of Wilmore Sr., who died in 1800. Wilmore Jr. married Priscilla Nancy Harris of Pitawba. Notes for Priscilla Nancy Harris. It has been told that Priscilla was a pretty little daughter of a slave girl and a Chinook Indian. Her mother was supposed to have been a slave girl brought to this country in the middle 1700s by a Frenchman from the Bahamas by the name of Marquis Scholars. It does not know whether she was of native Bahamian Indian ancestry or not. She eloped with a Cherokee Indian by the name of Paris, and to these two Priscilla was born. French and Spanish settlers in America intermarried freely with the Indians, but the English seldom mixed with the natives. Hence, it appears that among the pioneers' families of our country, the male may have some Indian blood in their veins. In 1936, a Maryland local paper reported on Garrett County family history. It said that, according to family tradition, Marquis Combs, a Frenchman residing in Virginia, had a French servant woman. It was not known whether she was from France or the French colony on Haiti. She was said to fall in love with a Cherokee man, and they had a daughter known as Priscilla Harris. Priscilla grew up on the Combs plantation and was said to be beautiful with an olive complexion, black eyes, and long hair, so long that she could sit on it. Her descendants were said to have kept some of Priscilla's wonderful hair for many years. When the claim was looked into by Henry Louis Gates Jr., he surmised that an individual named Samuel Harris, who married into the family, may have been Catawba, and his only remotely legitimate Native American connection discovered in the family's genealogy. Other members of the family had claimed Lenape ancestors, while a known Native American man, Henry DeLay, and some of his direct descendants had settled into the same general area who may have been Lenape. He has no direct connection to the rest of the family. However, the Peters and Thompson families, who did intermix with the CRP, may have had relatives who had intermarried into the Lenape people, even if they were not Lenape themselves. This is either the source of the Lenape ancestry itself or the most likely reason for the implication. So that's pretty much it about the Chestnut Ridge people. Didn't even know about this. Another multiracial group we didn't really know about history. Thank God for Wikipedia, y'all. I mean, because how would you have known stuff like this? This wouldn't have been in an encyclopedia when I was a kid, or even if some of y'all were kids, millennials and stuff. God bless the internet and Wikipedia. I'm just saying, y'all, I'm just going to sing the praises for days and days. So now the next two people I'm going to introduce you to are Samoan of America Samoa. And I am going to start with the daughter, and then I will go to her mother. So, the daughter, her name is Amata Kathleen Coleman Radwagon. Okay? She was born on December 29th, 1947. She's commonly called Amua Amata. She is an American Samoan politician who is the current delegate for the United States House of Representatives from America Samoa. Radwagon, a Republican, was elected on November 4th, 2014, after defeating Democratic incumbent Ina Balomia Vega. I'm trying my best with these Samoan names. They're tough to pronounce. Sorry if I mispronounced this. I know it's important to pronounce names properly. This woman, Annie, who she defeated, Annie was the first ever, no, actually, Amata was the first ever Republican delegate since the office had been created in 1970 and began her tenure on January 3rd, 2015. She also serves as the National Committee woman for the Republican Party of America Samoa. Amata is the first woman to represent American Samoa in the U.S. Congress. By winning 75.4% of the vote in her 2016 re-election, Amata attained the highest number of votes in American Samoa history. She won re-election with 83.3% of the votes in a three-way race in 2018. She has been the scheduling director for the United States of House of Representatives Majority Leadership for 8 years. Radwagen has also been the most senior member of the Republican National Committee since 2012. She was a member of both the Executive Committee for the 2016-17 presidential transition. Oh boy, we remember that, right? That time, right? That's when, who came into office. And the Executive Committee for the 2017 Republican National Committee chairman's transition. So now we don't know about where this amazing woman comes from, her early life, her education, all that stuff. So Radwagen is the daughter of Peter Tali Coleman, the first popularly elected governor of American Samoa, and Nora Stewart Coleman, the former First Lady of American Samoa. Her father was Samoan. Her mother was of Chinese, German, Native American, and Scottish descent. Radwagen has 12 siblings. She attended Sacred Hearts Academy in Honolulu, Hawaii for secondary education and graduated with a degree in psychology from the University of Guam in 1975. She also took classes at Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles, California, and George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. She is married to Brett Radwagen, and they have 3 children, Erica, Mark, and Kristen, and 2 grandchildren. Radwagen holds the Orator Toplum Chief title of Amua from the capital of Pago, her hometown, and where she is a registered voter. From 1984 to 1997, Amata was the chief diplomatic correspondent for the Washington Pacific Report. And now here comes a political career. Amata has been an executive assistant to the first delegate at large from American Samoa. From 1997 to 1999, Radwagen served on the staff of the United States Representative Phil Crane of Illinois. She served on the staff of United States Representative J.C. Watts Jr. of Oklahoma from 1999 to 2003. After that, she served on the staff of the House Republican Conference from 2003 to 2005. Radwagen first ran for Congress in the 1994 elections against Democrat Annie F.H. Palaeologos. She failed to gain the nominations of the Republican Party of American Samoa in 1996 and 2000, and she ran as an independent in the 1998 elections. Radwagen was appointed in 2001 by President George W. Bush as a commissioner on the President's Advisory Commission on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, AAPI. She chaired the Community Secretary Committee and was the only Pacific Islander on the 15-member commission. Now, let's just hit the brakes here. So she was the only Pacific Islander on the 15-member commission of the President's Advisory Commission on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. So you don't just have Samoans, you have Tonga. I don't know if Tonga, if we have Tonga as a territory. Guamese, Guam would still be Pacific Islander. I'm just trying to think of all the Pacific Islands that we actually hold territories on that should have been on this committee. Because I'm sure there were a lot of, Chinese and there's some Japanese, Vietnamese and all that. But it's at least they had one person representing you better than 0, So since 1994, Radwagen has participated in every federal election. Since 1986, she has represented the American Samoa Republican Party and the Republican National Committee. Radwagen is the most senior member. In 2019, she was reappointed by President Donald Trump to serve on the President's Advisory Commission on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders for a second stint. And now they're talking about her U.S. House of Representatives. All right, here we go. In 2014, that's when she won the first time, I think. Let's see. Radwagen ran for America Samoa's at-large congressional district in the 2014 elections. She defeated the Democratic incumbent delegate, Eni Falea-Mavega, 42% to 31%. Former Democratic Governor Tobiola Tulafono finished third at 11% in the 9-way contest. 2016 election. Radwagen was reelected in 2016, receiving the highest number of votes in American Samoa history for any elective office, winning 75.4% cast. Her tenure. Radwagen assumed office on January 3rd, 2015. Upon taking office, she became the Republican Party's highest-ranking Asian Pacific federal office holder for the United States. Bravo, girl. Radwagen has a bipartisan track record. She was ranked the 28th and 14th most bipartisan representative in the 114th and 115th United States Congresses, respectively, by the Lugar Center and the McCourt School of Public Policy's Bipartisan Index. And let me tell you all the committees she's on, boo-boos. She's on the Committee on Natural Resources, on the Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations, Subcommittee on Indian, Insular, and Alaska Native Affairs, Committee on Small Business. She's a vice-ranking member. She's also on the Subcommittee on Health and Technology. She's chair of that. Subcommittee on Economic Growth, Tax, and Capital Access. She's also on the Committee on Veterans Affairs, as well as the Subcommittee on Economic Opportunity. Her caucus memberships. She's on the Congressional Western Caucus, and she's also in the Climate Solutions Caucus. Radwagen has been involved in helping build democratic institutions internationally. As a trainer since 1992, she has participated in missions to Kazakhstan, Cambodia, Kyrgyzstan, and Morocco for the International Republican Institute and the International Foundation for Electoral Systems, among other activities. She began advocating on behalf of breast cancer awareness after being diagnosed with breast cancer in 1993. She is a founding member of the American Samoa Society and a life member of the Capitol Hill Club. She has also been a member of organizations such as the Guam Society of America, Hawaii State Society, Women's Foreign Policy Group, and the Independent Women's Forum. She is a current member of the Pan-Pacific and Southeast Asia Women's Association. In 2003, Radwagen became the first Pacific Islander chosen as Outstanding Woman of the Year by the National Association of Professional Asian American Women, NAPAW. In 2008, she received the International Leadership Foundation's Visionary Award. In 2013, she received both the Inspirational Speaker Award at the Samoan Athletes Heart of Champions ceremony in La Mesa, California, as well as the Trailblazer Award from the Republican National Convention. She is a current board member at the Fieldhouse 100 American Samoa. Well, right on, sister girl. You is a trailblazer, but you know where she got it from, y'all? She got it from her mama. And here is her mama. So, mama's name, Nora Hoaiulia Stewart Coleman, December 11th, 1920 to May 11th, 2005. Oh, wow. My 34th birthday. Ooh, double 11. She was meant to be a big thing in numerology. We're going to derail the conversation just for 1 second. I have a cousin who does numerology in 11s. People who are born the 11th day of the month, such as me and such as her mom, you're meant to do big and great things in the world because of the double number variable. So we have a choice as us as 11s to either do great things in the world as 11s and make impacts and be influential, or become an ordinary 2, which you kind of just run-of-the-mill type of person. So that's a little bit of numerology, a little history for you right there, a little bit of something you can look up. So anyway, back to Nora, y'all, from Mua's mama. Okay, so she was an American public figure who served as the First Lady of American Samoa for 4 tenures, spanning 5 decades, 1956 to 1961, 1978 to 1985, and 1989 to 1993. Coleman first became the First Lady of American Samoa from 1956 to 1961 when her husband, Peter Talley Coleman, was appointed the civilian governor of the U.S. territory. She returned to the role of First Lady in 1978 after Peter Talley Coleman became the first popularly elected governor of American Samoa. Coleman later served as First Lady once again from 1989 to 1993 during her husband's final touring discovery. Coleman, who was born in Hawaii, became the first woman from the Pacific Islands to serve as First Lady of American Samoa in 1956. Like her husband, who was one of the longest-serving governors of any jurisdiction in American history, Nora Stewart Coleman was one of the longest-serving First Ladies of any territory in U.S. history. Her daughter, Amada Coleman Ragwagon, was elected delegate to represent American Samoa and the United States House of Representatives in 2014. So here is Nora's bio. Okay. Coleman was born Nora Hawaiulia Stewart in Honolulu, Hawaii, as one of 7 siblings, 6 sisters and 1 brother. She was of Chinese, German, Native Hawaiian, and Scottish descent. Her siblings including the writer Julia Stewart Williams. Stewart attended Sacred Hearts Academy, an all-girls Roman Catholic school in Hailuki, and graduated with honors from the Kamehameha High School for Girls in 1938. She attended the University of Hawaii at Manoa for 1 year, but was forced to withdraw before completing her degree in order to support her family following the death of her father. In 1940, she met her future husband, Peter Talley Coleman, while working at a fashion show. She was modeling a dress loaned from the Bishop Museum that had once been owned by the Hawaiian royal family, while he appeared at the event as a kahili bearer. The couple married in 1941 and had 13 children during their marriage, including U.S. Delegate Amada Coleman Radwagon, Republican American Samoa. Nora Stewart Coleman first visited in America Samoa on board the USS President Jackson, APAAT, with her husband in June of 1952. American Samoa's jurisdiction was being transferred from the United States Navy to the Department of Interior at the time. The Colemans had traveled to Tutuila aboard the USS President Jackson to escort members of the Pita Guard who were being transferred to a U.S. naval base in Honolulu. 5 years later, Peter Talley Coleman was appointed civilian governor of American Samoa by the Interior Department in 1956, becoming the first Samoan governor of the territory. Nora Stewart Coleman, who was born and raised in Hawaii, became the first Pacific Islander to serve as First Lady of American Samoa in history. They remained in American Samoa from 1956 to 1961. Following the end of his governorship, Coleman followed her husband across the Pacific to his various postings. These included tenures as District Administrator for the Marshall Islands and District Administrator of the Northern Mariana Islands, both from 1965 to 1965. 1965 to 1969, actually. Deputy High Commissioner of the Trust Territory of the Pacific Islands from 1969 to 1975, and Acting High Commissioner of the Trust Territory of the Pacific Islands from 1976 to 1977. In 1977, Peter and Nora Stewart Coleman returned to American Samoa to launch his candidacy in the territory's first ever gubernatorial election. Peter Talley Coleman became the first popularly elected governor of American Samoa, resulting in Nora Stewart Coleman becoming the First Lady again in 1978. She served as First Lady from 1978 to 1985, and again from 1989 until 1993 during her husband's tenure in office. Coleman focused on education and children's issues during her tenure as First Lady. She often addressed women's groups and church congregations. Peter Talley Coleman died in 1997. Coleman largely retired from public life following her husband's death. She took to art and music at her family home in Niku Valley in Honolulu. In 2003, Coleman's Kamehameha High School class ring, which she had lost while swimming in Waikiki in 1938, was returned to her by a woman from Virginia. The woman's aunt had originally found the ring at the beach in 1996. The return of Coleman's ring became news in Hawaii, with articles appearing in the Honolulu Star Bulletin and the Honolulu Advisory. Coleman suffered cerebral hemorrhage at her home in the Niku Valley neighborhood in Honolulu on May 1st, 2005. She died at the Queens Medical Center in Honolulu on May 11th, 2005, at the age of 85. Coleman was survived by 12 of her 13 children. Her funeral was held at St. Patrick Catholic Church on Honolulu on May 20th, 2005, with burial next to her husband, the late Governor Peter Talley Coleman, in Diamond Head Memorial Park. And that pretty much, y'all, is about her. So I am just opening my eyes wider and wider with all the stuff that I'm learning, y'all. I mean, y'all should dig into this stuff too. And I'm just so happy that there's so much more information. So many activists and historians and trailblazers and rule breakers and everything that's just coming out of the woodwork. I'm just loving every minute of them to see just how much influence and how vast and how historical we've been part of history, woven into history just like everyone else. And we're now just realizing where we lie as the fabric in that thread. And I think that's just really freaking amazing. I don't know about you, y'all, but I love stuff like this. So, anywho, my darlings, I hope you enjoyed this episode today at the Reading Hour. And what I'd like you darlings to do for me is please download and subscribe to this wonderful podcast. Spread the news to your family, your friends, your neighbor, the neighbor's dog. I don't care. Because GMP, Generation Mix Podcast, is on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, and Spreaker. I am on Instagram, Generation Mix Podcast. I'm going to get help, though. I'm about to get somebody to help me with my social media, y'all. I'm very excited because I've been working like a dog at my 9 to 5. And I just want you guys to have a wonderful day. And I want you to stay hydrated. And my darlings, this is what it means to be multiracial in America. One story at a time, from the studio to the streets. Check you later.